Hello, everybody. Welcome to SysAdmin Reddit Stories, a new show by PDQ. I'm your host, Jake. And today we're going to be diving into some Reddit stories that talk about the life of IT. And I've got two guests on the show today. Both are very qualified to be on this show. Extensive IT backgrounds. Also, a lot of other skills. Brock's a writer. Tara is an interpretive dancer.
Obviously.
A lot of different things. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for being here.
That's the experience we'll be relying on mostly.
Mostly.
The interpretive dance.
Yeah.
She wears a lot of hats here at PDQ. And we're starting this show because we want to dive into what's out there, what's happening to other system administrators, other IT professionals. Reddit has a whole bunch of insane stuff, and we're just going to start chipping away at it slowly.
It's worth talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going to say trauma, PTSD mostly, Jake.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's commiseration.
Yeah.
It's
Crying.
trauma bonding.
Crying a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into our stories. Let's see what
do
we
it.
got. First one comes from Min5745. This is from the R SysAdmin thread. I accidentally deleted the VOLP VLAN during the day on one of our switches servicing...
Deleted the VLAN? Did you just say that?
Accidentally deleted the VOLP VLAN during the day on one of our switches servicing our HQ.
So he deleted the VoIP VLAN.
Suddenly,
Right?
our IP phones were unable to make calls. No recent config backup available. Fortunately, the config was not saved and a reboot restored the config. I'll never make changes again without a recent backup.
So he deleted the voice over IP VLAN. That's how the phones dial out.
Oh, so just killed the phone network
Oh my
completely.
gosh.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
No, that's a big one.
Here's the other thing, guys. I'm hosting the show, but I'm not an IT person, so I'm bringing you the questions and the perspective of somebody who doesn't know what a lot of this means, and so I'm going to be asking you. So this is a big no-no, right?
Oh, I don't even know how you do it. I mean, well, I guess technically you could, but yeah, you should probably know what that VLAN is.
Yeah.
And so first question, why are you doing it during the day?
Yeah, and like,
And why is just deleting this entire
I'm wondering what steps he was following to lead to that.
to lead
This
to
looks
that?
like we're not using that, even though I have 300 addresses. Beep.
I wonder how long ago this was, though, because
Yeah, when
we
was
don't
it?
even use phones here.
Yeah.
Posted this
General.
5 months ago.
I mean, that's
Oh.
not that long ago. I guess maybe there are still a lot of companies out there using phones and voice over IP.
Yeah.
phones.
Sure there are.
Yeah, I mean, everything nowadays for us, at least, is Slack.
It's all Slack.
Yeah.
Pretty much like 95% of
You-
the
Yeah,
'cause you would-
communications.
you
yeah.
would see all
Slack
those
and
addresses.
Zoom, right? Slack and Zoom.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
would see all the addresses, so you'll have all the active IPs.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is one of those experiences that every IT person has to go through at some point in their career. Not just with the voice over IP, like deleting that VLAN
Yeah.
or anything, but just making some kind of misconfiguration, especially like during production hours and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, I just learned a big valuable lesson here. Especially, I mean, luckily he was able to restore it, revert the changes. But yeah, have a backup, do it after hours.
Yeah.
If you're ever questioning something. But
Well, also
Experiencing
map
that gut
out your
drop.
network. Know what it is.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had one of those gut drop moments where you made a mistake and you're like, oh, I should not have done that?
yeah,
A million.
yeah.
So many.
I
But
had
not-
two.
Okay, let's hear it.
I deleted a in production OU, which contained all the objects for one of our. We had them designated by geolocation branches, so I basically just took an entire bank offline for everybody.
Was it a computer
Wow.
OU or user OU?
It was a both OU.
Did you put that on your resume? I single-handedly
I think I
dismantled a
missed
bank.
that part. I think I missed that.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Okay.
And then the other one was I was creating a new file server.
Mm-hmm.
That means backing up all the old files, transferring them to the new file server and stuff. And depending on your backups, connection speed and everything like that, it takes a long time to do that. So I had been prepping this thing for like weeks. The weekend finally came that I was going to be doing the transfer. And when I transfer everything over, everything looked immaculate. And I started like working on it and stuff. And I'm like, great, everything's working. I had my network guy with me and he's like logged in and tried to access the files. He's like, I can't access anything. Yeah, I forgot to transfer over all the permissions, all the file permissions.
So you had to start
I
over?
transferred every single file without permissions except for me.
Please tell me you made it open to everybody, or you closed it to everybody.
I closed it to everybody. Yeah, so I basically was a one-man show at that point.
That's wild.
So Friday night, I was in a panic, cold sweat, realizing what I did, and I was wondering at this point, I'm like, do I have enough time throughout the weekend to restore everything and get it back working?
There goes your weekend.
Did you?
I did. Sunday night, I had everything working.
Start with HR. Open to all. Did you do that?
No. No, I did not admit to my mistake.
Crazy. Okay, well, that's pretty wild. We got a couple in the comments of other people that have responded with their own little things. This next comment from Frequent Pineapple. I once effectively deleted an entire branch of government off the internet by using a DNS SEC zone signing script incorrectly. In my defense, oopsie daisy.
Oh, no.
Classic
No.
defense. Classic defense.
The next comment is, Your Honor, my client pleads oopsie daisy
No.
in today's case.
Oh, my God.
It's a valid defense.
Deleted an entire branch of government?
Yeah.
Oh,
DNS
there
will
goes
do
the
that.
judicial branch. No cases will be heard today, everybody.
Never,
I mean-
ever test in production.
That's the thing is like DNS changes can have massive impacts, right? And so it's like, one small change doesn't seem like much and all of a sudden it just brings everything down. So
That's wild.
If you don't know what the script does, don't do it. Number one.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
well,
I
let's go to our next story, yeah?
Oh.
yeah,
And this comes from Dave in IT 27.
Dave and I.
Thanks, Dave.
Sounds like a good guy.
Maybe. We'll see. The story could
okay.
reveal otherwise. Who
Okay.
knows?
What have you been up to, Dave?
All right, Dave. This is what he says. I got hired, given full system domain admin access, and then fired in 3 weeks with zero explanation. Corporate America stays undefeated. Sounds like a saga here. All right, here's a fun one for anyone who's ever worked in IT or corporate life and thought, this place has no idea what it's doing. So I get hired for an IT systems role. Awesome, right? Well, first day, they give me the wrong title and pay grade. I'm already like, huh? But whatever, I get fully onboarded. Security briefing done, clearance approved, PTO on the books, all the official stuff. They hand me full domain access to everything. I'm talking domain controllers, Exchange, the whole company's guts. And then a few days later, they disable my admin account while I'm sitting at my desk. Mid-shift, trying to do my job. Like, okay. When I reach out to the guy training me, hey man, I'm locked out of everything. What should I do? This dude just goes, I don't know. Sorry. I'm literally sitting there like, do I go home? Do I just stare at my screen and pretend to work? Should I start applying for jobs at my job? Turns out, leadership decided that they needed to re-verify their own hiring process after giving me full access, after
that's
onboarding
sus.
me, after approving my PTO. Cool. Makes sense. Fast forward a few days later, I received the notice that I'm fired out of nowhere. Not even by my manager, who is conveniently on vacation. Nope, fired by the VP of IT over a Zoom call. HR reads me some kind of script like it's badly written episode of The Office. No explanation, no conversation, just you're done. Total time at company, 3 weeks. Total answers, 0. Total faith in corporate America, minus 500. And that's his story. So Dave, he was there for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He's claiming that he just was sitting there doing his job and that all of a sudden everything was gone. His access was gone and he was fired. What do you guys, does this happen? Is this weird?
There's two sides to every coin.
I don't think so he makes a big deal about the access that he was granted. If you're an IT administrator, you'd be given domain admin access. You'd be given Exchange administrator access. That's not weird to me. I think asking for PTO on your first date, that's weird. That'd be a red flag to me.
Well, it
As
might
an
be just
IT
be something
manager?
as a policy is like, oh, you start with like maybe 8 hours or 16 hours accrued or something like that,
But he said
He didn't say
PTO
he asked
approved.
for it. They
He
said
said
they
that he
assigned
put
it to
in,
him.
it's submitted for his PTO, whatever
Yeah.
that means.
Oh,
So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Dave sounds like a problem to me. I don't know.
Dave, we don't know.
I got
There
some
seems to be
questions.
missing info for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. On the one hand, that stinks for Dave, especially the not knowing part, right? Because if you get let go, the first thing that I would want to know is why, so I could fix it in the future. If I did something wrong, that would drive me crazy if they didn't tell me like what I did so I can avoid it in the future. But on the corporate America side, yeah, they don't, especially if you're that new of a hire, you're going through a probationary period or something, they can just let you go and that can be it,
Yeah.
There's a comment that's just like yours. It says, am I the only one who isn't surprised he was given access to a domain admin account right away?
That's normal for an IT.
Not in the slightest. You need it to immediately
You do.
start working on production without context or documentation.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, tough break, but 3 weeks in, it probably had nothing to do with you, and it's possible your manager isn't coming back from vacation.
Oh.
Maybe.
Maybe,
possible.
yeah.
I think it's Dave.
It could be Dave.
I'm going to say it.
And then there's someone's like, oh, you think that's bad? Well, how about firing a manager on take your daughter to work day?
Oh my gosh.
While she was at work with him,
Oh.
the IT manager brought his daughter into work, was giving her a tour of the facilities, and she was getting a tour of somewhere else, and he was somewhere else as well. And then security came and got him and his daughter and escorted them both out of the building.
Oh.
I'm sorry I'm laughing.
Oh,
but
that.
It doesn't say why
that
he
is
was
so
fired,
brutal.
but like to do it then, right then,
Oh.
the VP of HR got fired for that firing.
Good.
As they should.
Is that
My
not
God.
wild?
Oh, no.
You know, I could see it as maybe it was like, maybe some companies don't participate in like bring your child to work day, right?
Yeah.
And maybe they're like, nope, we don't do it. Don't bring your kid to work. And maybe this person was like, oh, I'm going to do it anyways. You know, what are they going to do? Fire me? But
Yeah.
still, you
No, I
don't
don't think
do
it
it
had
while
to
the
do
daughter.
with
It probably
anything
didn't.
with the daughter.
It probably didn't. But
I
my
don't know. It could have been. It
gosh,
could have. We don't know.
that
You're right.
is
That's messed
so
up.
brutal.
But
Yeah.
that's not even one of our stories. That's just like someone's like,
Just someone's
well, what about
added
this?
context.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that
yeah, that's
happened.
bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
good
crazy.
thing for firing that VP of HR because that's not okay.
Yeah. Whoever gave that call, that was
How'd
not,
that person
not a
make
good
it
call.
to vice president?
A lot of firings.
We had a quota.
Yeah.
Had a quota.
All right. We got one more. That's it.
Okay.
We got one
Sure.
more today to go into, guys. This one was also on our SysAdmin. It comes from Disaster Recovery What? That's their name.
Great.
And the title of the story is I recently had to implement my disaster recovery plan. So their name really, they made this account for this post probably. About 2 years ago, I started at a small, medium business with a few hundred employees. We were almost all on-prem, very few cloud services outside of MS 365. The company previously had one guy who was essentially good with computers, set things up, but they grew to the size where they needed an IT guy full-time, which isn't super unusual. But the owner was incredibly cheap. When I started, they had a few working virtual host servers, but they had zero backups. Absolutely nothing on-prem was being backed up externally. In my first month there, I went to the owner and explained how bad things would be if we didn't have any offsite backups. We were doomed. I looked into free cloud alternatives, but there wasn't anything that would fit our needs. Management was very clear. The budget for backups is zero, and nothing is going to happen. You worry too much. So I decided to do it myself. I figured out how much I could set aside each week and started saving my own money. I didn't make a whole lot, but I did have extra money each month. I was determined to have a disaster recovery plan even if they didn't want to pay for it. And some of you may remember, Hurricane Ian hit a few months ago. We were not originally predicted to take the brunt of it, and management wanted no downtime, so we did not physically remove the server from the premises.
Oh, man.
The storm hit our building and damaged the building.
Wait, before you finish. Water and servers go so well together.
yeah.
Continue.
The storm damaged the building and we experienced some pretty severe data loss. So it was time for my disaster recovery plan. The day after, we gathered at the building and discovered the damage. After confirming that we had lost data, I said, I quit. I got in my car and lived off the 6 months of savings I had. Tomorrow, I start my new job. Disaster recovery plan worked exactly how I planned.
Dude, that is so good.
That's wild.
That is wild.
Like it's just poetic.
Yeah.
It's like what could possibly happen? How about a hurricane?
Wow.
Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen.
Anything, and it will because Murphy's law.
It
right?
will. Yeah. No.
First comment is had me going in the first half. I'll admit,
Me
good for
too.
you.
Me too. I was like, why are you working there? Why are you working there?
I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, why are you paying for this company's
Me
backup?
too.
Yeah,
Me
Just
too.
like, no,
That's-
he's paying for his own backup solution. I
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
No, that
So he
is-
made us think he was spending his own money on buying his own company's backups, but he was really just saving so he could get out of there.
You know, if he was
Smart
smart,
man.
though, he would have actually gone through with the backup and then charged money for his company to be like, hey, I
That's-
quit, but if you need a contractor to
Next
restore
level
all your
ransom-
data,
Yes.
you
level
can hire
ransomware,
me.
dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
that's smart.
that's like
Oh.
physical ransomware.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's actually smart.
Another comment. The next comment is, "Who in their right mind would spend their own money on?" Oh,
Exactly. Exactly.
that's wild. So, for all of you out there, if you're wondering if whether or not you should have backups, you could literally get hit by a hurricane. You could get hit by an earthquake. Was there anything in your guys' careers where somebody has been super naive about backups?
I think everyone has that story. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you got?
Back to this story, though. I just want to
Okay.
say that guy obviously did the right thing, but he had 365, right? So
Yeah.
technically, what he should have done is transferred that data to and made a SharePoint file share.
Yeah.
He should have done that.
Yeah.
It would have been technically. I'm doing quote marks here.
He could have done
free.
that for free. Yeah.
Or he could have used OneDrive, even though it's licensed per user. That's what I would have done.
Yeah.
You could have been sneaky about it, but that company didn't deserve him. But
No.
you technically could do that. You can leverage
Yeah. He's
OneDrive
remember,
that way.
our budget
But,
is $0.
yeah.
Nothing.
They don't
mean,
deserve
even
that
if you
kind of
got
thing.
$0. It's like like even on-prem they had zero backups whatsoever. Even like you have an external hard drive or something and throw some files on there and grab in the case of a hurricane.
Yeah.
I mean something.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, immutable really means you take that off premise to your house, to a separate
So it's not
location.
a single point of failure, a single
yeah.
No,
location of failure.
and I have experienced that in my career where
Yeah.
the only thing that saved us when we had a ransomware attack was that backup that was at a complete separate location. And that actually happened multiple times, not during the ransomware, but when the earthquake hit Salt Lake, remember a few years ago? We completely lost power at the Triad Center.
Yeah.
Completely lost it.
That's crazy.
It was completely
And so you
down.
have to have something off site
That wasn't-
can't be affected.
That wasn't the backup, but that was the satellite trucks.
Oh.
We were able to go back live for the newscast because of the satellite trucks. So you always have to have a backup of some kind
You better.
to get yourself back
And
online.
not just of your data, you're
Yeah,
saying.
exactly.
Yeah,
That
your
was
systems like that.
a broadcast system.
Yeah.
You always have to be thinking that way.
And here's
So
the thing, it's
crazy.
like 10, 15 years ago, I think a lot of companies were pretty naive about, I mean, most bigger companies anyway, still had backups and whatnot. But ever since ransomware kind of like took over the cybersecurity space, all of a sudden, yes, it's every enterprise is on board with like backups. But you get to these smaller businesses, especially businesses that start small and are like
They're trying to pinch pennies and save every dollar they can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they just think, oh yeah, we won't be attacked by, we're not worth attacking, whatever.
Could never be us.
Yeah, exactly.
It will be.
It will be. It's only a matter of time.
And it's only getting easier and easier for people with like AI and stuff like that to take advantage of whatever whatever exploits or vulnerabilities are out there to, impact your environment. So yeah, it's going to happen. It's getting easier and easier for the bad guys, unfortunately. So yeah, those backups are
Crucial, not even optional. Yeah. Well, we want to hear down in the comments if you guys have ever had anything like this happen to you, if you've gotten slammed by an earthquake or a wildfire or a hurricane. Hope not. It's nothing to laugh about, really.
No.
Or if you have any stories of the like that have affected you over your career. But that's going to do it for today's episode of SysAdmin Reddit Stories. This is our first episode. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe. And we'll be back with more. Tara and Brock, thanks for being here to chat with me today.
Absolutely. Loved it.
I think we're at the end of the day. These guys are going to go and back up every machine in the entire building.
That's
Totally.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
That's what we're doing.
Yep.
Okay.
My to-do
Thanks,
list
guys.
for the rest of the day.
Hang in there. Thanks for watching.